All right, brother. So we're going to start this episode with our giving back segment. And the question on my mind today is what do you do when a loved one comes and asks you for a loan? That can be a very stressful
All been there.
situation, right? You know,
It
you
is stressful.
it is. You feel like, uh-oh, now my relationship with this person has been um, kind of held hostage, right, by the answer to my question. If I don't help them out, how is this going to impact our relationship? And if I do give them money, is it actually going to accomplish the objective, right? So you need to think about each request individually. Um, One thing you might consider is, has this person come to you before asking for money or to someone else in the family? Because someone who is habitually asking for loans and never paying them back is someone who probably has some issues with how they spend their money. And continuing to give them more money may not actually help them resolve their issues. So sometimes saying no is the best thing to do for the loved one. If, however, this is a situation where, the person is typically reliable and dependable and they've found themselves in a pinch, perhaps by something that's happened to them outside of their control, you might evaluate whether you can do some good by helping them out. And then I think you have to think about the other side of the coin, which is, are you in the position to actually give what they're asking from you? Because even if it's the right thing to help them in principle, it may not be the right thing for you at that time. If you don't have the money available, for example, then the correct answer is, I'm sorry, I can't help you, even though I wish I could. The the thing you don't want to do is put yourself in a position where you need to find money from somewhere else because you've given what you can't afford to give. So it's a very complicated situation, and it's one that you kind of have to analyze on a case by case basis. So let me ask you, Psyche, what kind of experiences have you had with loved ones asking for money?
Well, I've had a lot of experience with it, and I try to look at it from a Christian fundamental level, right? And we always want to help everybody, but the two things for me are: one, can I afford to lose this money? So, whenever a family member comes up to me and says, "Hey, I need to borrow money," I'm not big on loaning family money. Um, I look at it as, hey, if do I have the money to give to you, and can I not be affected if I don't get it back? And then two, how is holiday family time going to be affected by this if I give you slash loan you this money? So that's why I kind of look at it that way. I don't like to mix money with family. I like to keep it separate because it does affect the relationship, and I don't want it to. So if you're going to go into a agreement where you do loan a family member money, I would go into it with the belief that you're not going to get it back. And of course, you have to be able to absorb that, right? Are you in a financial situation where you can give that money and not get it back? So that's kind of the way I like to go into a situation like that.
Well, I like that very much. I think that's an excellent point. And in fact, I actually agree with you, and that's the way I look at it is, instead of making a loan, make a gift. So if giving is the right choice, and if I have the ability to give without putting an undue burden on myself by giving that money away, then instead of loaning it, I will just give it to the person and say, hey, look, this is something that I'm doing for you. It's burden free, right? You take it, you do what you need to do with it, And then, God willing, you'll be in a situation at some point in the future that you can extend that same grace to somebody else in the future. And part of the reason that I have that attitude is because I've had that grace extended to me. And when I was in a time of need, I had folks offer to meet that need for me. And it never was conditional. It wasn't, I'll give this to you if you repay me. It was, I'm going to give this to you because I love you. And I trust that you're going to be able to work through this. And then in the future, when you're in a position to help, hopefully you can help somebody else. And in that way, you're kind of paying it forward. And I think that's the best way to look at it. So, the first thing to quickly review is it the right thing to give the money to the person? Is this a situation where it's a one-time need from a person who generally has it together, or is it a situation where you may be enabling someone to continue in some bad behavior? So if the answer to that question is this is a one-time situation and it's the right thing to give, then the next question is, can I give what they're asking, or can I give anything at all without creating an undue burden for myself? And if the answer to that question is yes, then go ahead and give the money, but strongly consider giving it as a gift instead of a loan, because that'll free that other person from that emotional burden that they would carry, knowing that they've got to figure out a way to pay that money back. And then hopefully down the road, they'll be in a situation where they can do that for somebody else. So that's our giving back segment this week. And it's definitely worth thinking about, because as times get tougher, this is going to be a situation that more and more of us encounter with our loved ones.
The Purposeful Podcast.